Hey guys, welcome to the SimRacingPaddock. I'm William Marsh, and yesterday I had the opportunity to go to Deep Silver Games and test out Codemasters F1 2018. This was my first hands-on experience with the upcoming racing title, and I was definitely excited. The US distributor for Codemasters games contacted me a couple weeks ago saying they wanted a sim racer's opinion on the upcoming Formula 1 title. Also, it doesn't hurt that I live just a half hour away from their offices. I gladly accepted their offers, and I was able to spend about 3 hours testing out the title. For testing, I was running a build of the game that was initially put out for E3, so what I was running was based off a build that was around 2 months old. I was playing on a PlayStation 4 Pro, and for the first half of my testing, I was outputting to 4K HDR on a Samsung QLED TV. For the second half of the testing, we downscaled the resolution so I was able to capture direct feed through an Elgato capture card. I was driving with a Thrustmaster T300 RS with modified pedals mounted onto a Playseat F1 chassis. First off, let's get the bad news out of the way. I have received confirmation there will be no virtual reality support for F1 2018 at release, and honestly, I'm finding it unlikely that there will be a post-release patch to add support for VR. It seems like they are prioritizing their work this year in other parts of the title. This, in my opinion, is one of the most frustrating parts of the upcoming game because the Halo and Formula 1 cars would be far more tolerable while driving in VR. At the very least, Codemasters is providing an option for you to remove the Halo if it is really frustrating for you. Now that I'm guessing about 30% of people watching have clicked away in an angry rage, let's talk about some of the good things about F1 2018. Fortunately, there's a lot to be excited about compared to F1 2017. In the recently released gameplay trailer for F1 2018, there was mention of improved tire, suspension, and chassis simulation. In addition, it mentioned that the cars would be built off of real-world data from F1 teams. The question is, what does that mean for us? Well, to put it simply, the cars feel like a significant improvement over what I felt in F1 2017. In F1 2017, the cars felt a little boat-like in my opinion. The tires didn't really give much input of what the car was doing, resulting in a slightly sluggish and frustrating experience. The cars in 2018 feel a lot more snappy, a lot more precise, and most importantly in my opinion, a lot more intuitive. One example that really sold the improved physics for me was turn 15 at Albert Park. Going over that curb, and seeing and feeling how the car behaved, there was a massive improvement over F1 2017. It's not a total overhaul, so don't expect new features such as tire flat spotting or other dynamic features more hardcore racing sims offer. However, it seems like F1 2018 is taking a few steps closer to the serious simulation side. Don't get me wrong, it still feels like a Codemasters title, which isn't exactly the best thing, but at least it's an improvement over its predecessor. I've actually also been able to get cars to slide a bit and actually be able to manage them. Driving the classic cars in F1 2018 feels like a hoot and is a lot more enjoyable than my experiences in the previous title. For example, the 1976 Ferrari 312 T2 felt surprisingly close to the Assetto Corsa version in terms of vehicle dynamics and feeling. Driving in rain feels like an even bigger challenge than in F1 2017, but at the same time, the improvements in the way you feel the car almost counteracts the added difficulty. The force feedback provides a lot more input than the previous year, which I am happy to report. You get a lot more feeling of what the car is doing, and it doesn't feel as dead as it did last year. Also, one thing I'm ecstatic to report about is that the input lag is all but gone in this title. In F1 2017, there was a significant amount of input lag no matter what platform you played the game on. I'm extremely pleased to see this has been greatly reduced, especially on the console side. It allowed for me to feel a lot more connected to the car, which I think does result in a better experience. This may be the one single improvement I'm the most excited about personally. In terms of graphics, I was told that Codemasters had hired a new art director, and it shows. It's not a massive leap in visual quality, but it is definitely noticeable. The sim looks a little more vibrant, a little more dynamic, and a little more lively. If you have compatible hardware, I highly recommend trying this out in 4K with HDR. It is absolutely stunning. Also worth mentioning is the fact that the title maintained a solid 60 frames per second even when outputting in 4K. They are claiming that all platforms will achieve a stable 60 frames per second while playing. I would have loved to test out this claim on different platforms, but I'll definitely take what I can get in terms of testing. Audio feels like there's an extra level of added depth and authenticity to it. The engine notes feel a little more dynamic, and some of the subtle effects I was hearing, such as the buzzing while downshifting, brought a smile to my face. I also got to do a little bit of testing of the career mode in the game, and it looks like there are some significant steps forward to make you feel like you're in control of your own career. After each session, you will take part in a quick interview, and that will lead to how you are perceived by other teams, your team, or even the media. The research and development tree has also been improved, with a metric ton of options to improve your car over the course of a season. In my testing of the career mode, there were some bugs that still needed to be worked out. For example, the interview process. In my first race, I absolutely dominated, but then I was surprised when the news reporter asked, "You were struggling, what went wrong?" But I'm guessing this issue will be ironed out if it hasn't been already. F1 2018 is certainly looking to be on the right track to make some significant improvements over the previous title in this series, but there are still some improvements that need to be made. For example, the damage engine is still hit or miss. Most direct hits will result in a brutal crash, forcing you to retire. However, there are still the occasions where hits that should result in significant damage will result in you getting away scot-free. I'm hoping that Codemasters will work on tweaking the damage sensitivity to create a more authentic experience. All in all though, when I was done with my testing for the day, I left with a smile on my face and wanting a lot more. Fortunately, we don't have long to wait, since F1 2018 comes out this month on August 24th. When that date comes, I'll hopefully have my review of the title ready with more thoughts on the game. But based on my first impressions, I'm definitely excited to turn more laps. So, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about F1 2018 coming out this month? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest from SRP. For the Sim Racing Paddock, I'm William Marsh, and you have a great rest of your day.